everybody, this is Liz from FCK.FM, and we bring to you the best of hard rock and heavy metal. Today we are in the wonderful Munich, and we are here in the backstage. And we got a great pleasure today to have Alex Skolnick from Testament with us. So thank you for being here with us.
Hello. Hello, Liz. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's really great that you are here for the interview. And before we start talking about the upcoming record that you're doing, I wanted to ask you something about the tour that you're doing right now, The Bass Strikes Back. So how many shows did you play so far?
Gosh, I have to look at I luckily have all the shows listed right here, so I can tell you. So today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Don't worry, we got
8,
time.
9, 10, 11. 12.
12 shows so
Yeah.
far. Awesome.
I was gonna guess 2 weeks worth, but yeah, that's about right. With a couple of travel days.
Yeah. How did you like it so far?
It's been an amazing tour. It's mostly sold out. There's a special excitement about this tour. I think we've never all toured together at the same time.
But you've toured with all of those bands, with Death Angel and with Exodus before.
Yes, Death Angel has toured with Exodus and Testament. Testament has toured with Exodus and Angel, and all combinations, except never
almost three together.
Never all in one tour. And I think just having the theme of all being Bay Area bands that are from the same scene is a cool thing. And then there's extra excitement about it. We've been touring a lot the last few years. It's been going well, and there just seems to be even a newer audience. That's been the case the last few years, but even more so lately. And I think with the new album coming out, there's some buzz around us. Exodus is in a new period. Gary Holt is back.
Yeah, finally.
And he's it's great for the first time in many years, so that's really exciting. And Death Angel is having this great, they're really having a moment. They even have a Grammy nomination.
They're really successful right now,
Yeah, and they're sounding better than ever. And so it's just exciting. It's all three bands that, they're sort of at the point where with many bands, after a certain period, you think, oh, I should have seen them. I wish I could have seen them a long time. But this is the best time to see any of these bands.
It's kind of like a family touring together, right? Because everybody's knowing each other, everybody knows
there's friendships that go back a long way. Every band, I can say this, has had somebody that's been out of the band. And there's been all kinds of drama, and it's worked out, and they found their way back in the band. So we're past it, like everybody, every band, there's been some reunion within each of these bands, and we're past it. We're just, we're friends, like no matter what, friends. The friendship is there. We're all having fun, and the bands have not sounded better. So it's a good, this is the time, and I think the word is spreading because the shows are, as I said, there's a lot of sellouts, and some of them are being moved to larger venues.
Oh wow!
So it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, sounds really great. Really excited to see you tonight.
You'll appreciate it. It goes by really quickly too.
Yeah.
Like each band, has a full show. But I don't know, somehow the crowds are so energetic. They don't get tired. It's not like one of those festival gigs where sometimes at the end you can tell.
And hours and hours and hours.
Like at Wacken, for example. They're appreciative, but they've been around all day. And they're a little overwhelmed. It's not like I think it's just the right amount of ultra intense music.
Yeah. Okay, so on April 3rd, you're gonna release a new record. Hey, like Titans of Creation, is the title. And you're gonna release it with Nuclear Blast. And we already got to listen to the first single, Night of a Witch, which already came out in January, I think, end of January. And how were the reactions of the fans to the song that you already released?
Oh, it's been really good. It's you'll hear it tonight.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. We started playing it not at the beginning of this tour, but a few shows in.
Okay.
And yeah, it was actually no. I'm sorry. Maybe it was the beginning. It was either the first or second show of this tour. Right? We debuted it, and it's gone over really well. It's like it's exciting. It's kind of got a it's very you're able to sing along to it. Yeah, so it's not the fastest Testament song.
Yeah.
It's not the most complicated Testament song, but it's very contagious. People sing it.
Yeah, I think it really stays in the ear.
Yeah, it stays in the ear, and it's got a really nice tempo, like a medium tempo. So, while still being very intense and aggressive. And so, yes, responsive.
That's very cool. So, this is the first studio album since The Brotherhood of the Snake from 2016. And Brotherhood of the Snake was really extremely successful. So, what would you think? How did you guys develop since then? What are the differences to the Brotherhood of the Snakes right now?
Well, I think with each album of like the more modern period of Testament, there's just been a little bit more of togetherness on each album, just from the energy of playing a lot of shows together. Because when we did Formation of Damnation, it was pretty new. You know, we've done a few shows here and there as the reunion period of the band. But it really, we needed to do that record just to start touring.
Yeah.
And that was when we started doing longer tours. I mean, we did this wonderful tour with Motorhead, Heaven and Hell, and Judas Priest, and that really sort of put the band back and brought us back to this level of touring often. But with each album, then there was Dark Roots of Earth, and we were touring a lot more. So I think that energy was definitely there for Brotherhood of the Snake. It just had a lot more. Although it was done in a rush, because at that point we were touring so much. It was done quickly, and I don't think anybody was in the studio at the same time, except Eric and Chuck, Eric and Gene. This time, I was in the studio at the same time as Gene, and we worked together. Steve, actually, there were times we were all in the studio together, even if we weren't playing at the same time. We were all like weighing in on the music and just having more of an impact. So I think there's a little more of a group energy on this record.
And talking about the music, how do you think did it change from the Brotherhood of the Snake?
I think you never know exactly how it's going to go, because it depends on the mood of the parts. It all starts with parts, and the parts are impacted by what feels right to do, how they're created, what the band feels like doing once we're at the point of putting out the album. So, for example, the song we were just speaking of, Night of the Witch, that has something really different, because Eric is actually singing parts of it, doing his black metal voice.
That's really cool.
And it's cool. That's very different. I think we might not have been ready for that at one time, but this time it made sense. So that's a totally different element. And then with some of the other albums, like especially Dark Roots and Formation of Damnation, I would come up with parts, or I would come up with whole songs, and I would say, just here, use whatever parts you want to use.
Alright.
And some of the parts would get used, some of them wouldn't. Occasionally there'd be a whole song. There's a song, FEAR, Fear.
Yeah.
That's, we used the whole song. But that's pretty rare. But this time, 2 whole songs that I sent ended up being done.
That's cool.
Pretty close to the way I'd done them. So that's a little different too.
That's the way how it usually works, that everybody gives in some parts, or you give in some parts, and some get used, some don't get used.
Yeah, that's often. I mean, since in the early, the first period of the band, most of the songs, the music was written by Eric and myself together.
Yeah.
And then when I was away from the band, in the 90s and the early 2000s, Eric became the main songwriter, and I respected that going back into it. And I think he's still comfortable doing whole songs, although we do have a few parts that are, with their collaborations. But this time, I guess, he liked these songs, and they're different. The one song I wrote is called Symptoms. It's also a mid-tempo song, but it's not a ballad, but almost like, I don't know how to describe the beat, but it's more,
like smoother? Oh, like groovy.
Groove, like just a pure groove, and it just works with the parts. It just would feel weird to take any of those parts and put them into another.
Can actually hear it. That sounds really
I heard that. Yeah. You will.
You gonna play it tonight?
No, we're only doing the one new song so far, and then we're going to do another one in a couple weeks. So we're kind of slowly
spreading the news.
Yeah. But I think eventually we're going to do a lot of these new songs.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the new record to hear it finally.
That's so good to be done.
Another question about Titles of Creation. It was co-produced by Juan Ortega. I don't know if I spelled it right. Ortega, okay, sorry. He also did the last 2 records, right?
Yes. So Juan is, he's a big part of the first part of the recording process. He has a studio in California. It's very close to where the other guys live. He's worked with Machine Head. I think he may have done some work with Death Angel as well, I'm not sure. But he's really like the Bay Area guy.
Okay.
So as far as the recording part, he has a big role there. But then once the recording is done, the music goes to Andy Sneap in the UK, who's mixed and or co-produced the last few records. And he has a big stamp on the music as well, just from the later part of the recording, once it's recorded. And how
do you choose somebody to work with? What are your criteria for that?
I guess the band has been fortunate in a way that they've developed relationships. It's a little bit like having band members that aren't on the tour bus. I think in a way they become like band members. Juan has been involved, again, the last few records. I think Andy has done he was doing records from before I was even reunited with the band. So they already had this relationship. And if it's working, it doesn't really make sense to...
Of course,
unless you want to do something like completely different. You know what I mean? Like this new Ozzy Osbourne record, apparently. He used all. He went complete. I haven't even heard. I need to hear it, but
I've heard some signs of it.
I've heard it's good. I heard it's really, really different.
It is.
So if you're going to do a big change like that, okay, then it makes sense. But we want to keep pretty consistent records, and so it's been those guys as far as the studio process, and even the artwork. We have an artist he's almost like an extra band member, and he's done think he's done all the reunion albums. His name's Eliran Cantor. He's also done stuff for Behemoth. And,
I think I heard about his name.
Yeah, and he's Israeli, but based in Berlin. So he's very global, and he was just out at a couple of the shows. And,
that's amazing.
And the backdrops, the scenery now has become a big part of the show with Testament. So, he's a big part of that as well. I mean, honestly, that it affects everything. It affects the merchandise. It affects the staging. It's all based on that artwork. So that
it's a lot that you can express with art too.
Yeah. So I think it's really good if you have somebody like that who's like a very consistent artist, almost like those Iron Maiden albums.
Oh yeah.
They always have that same kind of feel, or even like going back. Yes, like progressive rock. Yes, always had this certain look. It was always this artist, Roger Dean. You always knew it was, and he was like a band member. So I think Eliran is kind of like that for us.
Okay. So you're just working with people that are getting really close to the band, and if you're happy with the cooperation, then you just keep working with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you develop friendships, but also. It's understood. It is business. So you need to work with people where it would be understood, even if we said, "Hey, we're going to use somebody else this time." They would have to. And all these people are like that. But the main thing is that it has to work. Does it work? You know what I mean? And as far as the production and the artwork, it's the last few times around, it's worked, and it's become. It feels like it's a part of this whole new period of the band.
Okay, so far we're done with the first part of our interview. So thank you so much again for being with us.
Of course.
If you liked what you were seeing here in the interview, please subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and hit the notification bell for further videos of FCK.FM.
Like.
Thank you very much, and see you on the second part.